Hey everybody, and welcome to another LEGO Star Wars review here on my channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new 2025 Rebel U-Wing Starfighter. This is set number 75399, it comes with 594 pieces and is recommended for ages 8 and up. And we're going to start by taking a look at the minifigures first, starting with Cassie and Andor. And I feel like that this is a relatively decent looking minifigure. I do like the chest print that is included. The facial expression and hairpiece look really great as well, and I feel like the leg printing for this figure is okay. There is no printed detail on the side of this minifigure's arms or legs, but he does come with a pretty good looking back print, and unfortunately you can see part of his second facial expression peeking through the bottom of his hairpiece. And there really isn't too big of a difference between his two facial expressions. I personally would have preferred either one face print or make the two facial expressions more different than they currently are. The next figure we're going to be taking a look at is K2SO. And I love the look and design of this droid as well as the printed detail. You can even see that there's some printed detail on the side of the figure, and then as far as the back of the figure goes, there really isn't anything too special going on. The next minifigure we're going to be taking a look at is Dedra. And I do like this minifigure overall. I feel like it's got some really nice printed detail. However, I do wish that this figure came with some dual molded legs because the white printed detail on the black legs does look good, but I think having that element dual molded would have made it look a little bit better. Here's a quick look at the figure from the side, and again, I think having those legs dual molded would have greatly benefited the figure overall. And then here's the back of the figure, which has some really nice printed detail as well as a dual molded hairpiece that looks absolutely awesome. And she does come with a second angrier facial expression if you were curious. And the last minifigure we're going to be taking a look at is the ISB agent, and again, I think this is a pretty solid looking figure in terms of printed detail on the chest, legs, and belt. There's really nothing special going on as far as the side of the figure goes. And then if we take a look at the back of the figure, you can see a nice back print and no second facial expression. And overall, I am relatively happy with the 4 minifigures that are included, but the highlight for me personally has to be K2SO. Now that we have all the minifigures out of the way, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look at the Rebel U-Wing Starfighter. And my initial impression of the U-Wing is relatively strong. I do like its overall design, and I feel like it comes with some really cool play features. We're going to start by taking a look at the top of the ship, which is symmetrical in design, but asymmetrical in color. And I personally like this design choice as it makes the ship more interesting to look at. The engines of the U-Wing I think look really great as well. Here's a quick look at the back of the ship, and you can see that the detail for the engines is actually a lot longer than you would think. And I'm very happy to report that the detail found on the U-Wing's windshield is printed, and pushing in this gray piece causes it to prop open. And while it is cool, it is kind of a useless play feature in my opinion. And there is enough space to place a minifigure inside of the cockpit, but you do have to tilt it back just a little bit. Doing so will give you the room you need to push down the windshield. There are 2 missiles found at the front of the U-Wing, and if you push down on the hood here, it causes them to fire. Moving to the back of the ship, there is this small area here that is able to be pulled down. I think this was more to get the angle of the ship, but you can put some weapons in here if you wanted to. The U-Wing does come with a really small interior. You can take the sides here and push them down to reveal the inside. But I cannot reiterate how small of an interior this is, and for me personally, I found it really hard to get minifigures in here. I don't think it's impossible to place a minifigure inside of the U-Wing, but someone with adult-sized hands, I found it to be a rather frustrating process and just wanted to make note of it. The last feature we're going to take a look at is you can actually take the sides of the U-Wing here and push them outward. Pulling the wings back will give the U-Wing just a little bit of a different shape and design. And I personally prefer the ship in its original mode, but I do think this is a pretty cool play feature for kids. And I don't think it necessarily looks bad, but for me and my shelf space, I'm going to be displaying it the other way. The 2025 LEGO U-Wing retails for $70. And I do think that that price could be justifiable if you take a look at the build as a whole as well as the 4 minifigures included. And if I had to change anything about the set, again, I wish Dedra came with some dual molded legs. But be sure to let me know what you think of this set in the comments below, and like and subscribe to see more LEGO reviews in the future.